Bill Levinson, Managing Partner of Levinson and Associates. And with me today, we have Joseph Loughran, our Marketing Vice President. And then we have a special guest speaker, Paul Carter, who is going to dive into some of our latest technology and tools that is going to help you streamline your business model. Okay, this is literally going to save days and weeks off turnaround time from the second you take an application to the second the policy goes in force. So this is all great stuff. I don't care if you're 17 or 87. Everybody needs to be utilizing the latest technology that changes the way that you're going to do business now and in the future, because, you know, unfortunately what's happening nowadays is the younger generation, they're used to things being done through email and e-signature, and, you know, snail mail is a thing of the past. So we either have to, you know, fight it and not change and do things, you know, the old school way, and unfortunately our business will decrease over time, or we stay ahead of the curve and we find out what's new and hot and what works. And we're here to show you and help you utilize all of the latest technology. And of course, we don't charge you for any of these tools. So that's number one. So great stuff here, especially if you're selling over the phone. You do a lot on our website or through your own website. This is crucial. So everyone that's a life insurance agent needs to be utilizing these tools. So very, very important webinar training today. We're going to be really quick. We run for about 25 minutes, and we're going to do things a little different. We're going to keep it short, sweet, and to the point. And I'm not going to steal Paul's thunder, but we're very excited about the presentation because we are officially launching the e-requirement tool today. So you can get set up and running as soon as we're done with the call. And then you're going to learn about our new eValuate tool that is basically an automated underwriting platform that if you've used X-Ray in the past on our website, this is kind of like an X-Ray on steroids, if you will. So that we're working on today, and we should have it launched in probably the next few weeks or so. But we're going to have another webinar on eValuate. But today, e-requirement is up and running. You're going to learn a little bit about both. So great stuff to come. Take out a pen and paper, jot down any notes, questions that you might have, and of course, you can call us after the call, and we'll get you up and running with e-requirement. So moving forward, a couple of our agent training events that are coming up, and as you know, we try to really find out what's new and hot and what's working in the industry and wrap it up in a 30 or 40-minute webinar. And obviously, we know your time is important, so we don't want to waste a minute of your time with information that's not going to help you grow your business. So this is really, really important to us, these weekly webinars, and we hope it helps the way that you write business, and we hope it helps overall production, most important. So the first one is July 11th, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And this is more for business insurance and how you can structure buy-sell agreements. And it really is made to give you new sales ideas so you can talk to a small business owner. So great stuff there, and that's a great way to tie in a life insurance sale, as you know. On the 13th at 2 p.m. Eastern, we're going to go into the Sell While You Sleep products, okay, which you should be using through your website. If you're not, just call us. We'll get you up and running at no charge. We have some new products that we're going to roll out on that webinar. And then on the 14th, the following day, we have our annuity webinar. As you know, Josh Hoffman heads up our annuity department. So very important, 12 p.m. Eastern, protection from retirement risk. Great overall annuity 101 type webinar that you should be on. Okay, moving forward here, without further ado, we're going to dive into our feature presentation. So we have Paul Carter, who is the Chief Marketing Officer, okay, with our third-party vendor, and he really knows his way around this stuff. He's helped develop these products, so I think everyone is going to walk away with some great stuff. So we have Paul Carter from Paperless Solutions Group, PSG. Paul?
Thank you, Bill, and thank you, everybody, for your time and attention. Let me confirm straight away to the folks at Levinson, you can see my screen. I just want to make sure that we have handed off the baton.
Yep, we could. Thank you, Paul.
Okay, perfect. Just didn't want to start babbling and have to break off. Okay, what you're looking at here, Bill touched on very briefly, is our Evaluate tool. And as he mentioned, the closest analog to it might be X-ray. As we were looking at the market and what tools were out there, we realized that something that some of you may have also come to conclude, that X-ray was kind of limited. At the time, you couldn't do multiple impairments. Now I think you can do up to 3. You can do comorbidities, flat extras, credits, anything like that. All those are possible and in place with Evaluate. Matter of fact, with Evaluate, you can do unlimited impairments. You can basically keep putting conditions in until, for all intents and purposes, the software is going to ask you, are you sure this person has a pulse? So you can just keep drilling down and drilling down. I'm only going to do a couple of quick screens. I'm going to jump into the health questions, and I'm going to hit a couple things with yes. What I'd like you to do as I do that is look over here where my arrow is on the right, where you see the companies lined up. As I put in these things, you'll start seeing changes, and you'll maybe even see the order of these. Let me go to something a little simpler. Let me go to blood pressure controlled by medication. And as I put in these answers, you'll probably see the order of the carriers change. They haven't yet, but as you do, it'll basically in real time reorder the quotes. You'll see the numbers change, and you'll see the order of the carriers change. And so that's something that's done in real time. We're going out, hitting the quote engine. We have the choice of going in and going with either CompuLife, and soon we'll have EVIX in there if that is a preference. You can go through and you can jump through these in any order you want as far as the different types of things that you go to, autoimmune or something like that. If your proposed insured mentions along and along that they've got a problem with breathing disorders, then you can move to that because you know that COPD is going to be an issue. And so as you go through, you can do that. Now, as Bill mentioned, this tool is going to be ready very soon. Didn't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I did kind of want to give you just a little taste of it, the look and feel, and let you know that that is on the horizon. But the main feature for today, of course, is e-requirement, and that's what I'm going to pivot to straight away now. What you're looking at is the back office suite, which is typical. Right now I'm in our demonstration suite. They're all identical. I didn't want to go into the Levinson suite and basically create visual clutter there. But again, each and every suite is identical. When you step through that very useful Levinson Associates portal, you'll basically sign up for your own suite and you'll be identified in there. And then the cases that you address in e-requirement will be personally you and seen only by you and only by the case managers at Levinson Associates. So I've got one that I've sort of started here just to save you all the tedium of watching me type and select things, but I did want to point out a couple features. When you select a form, to select a company, of course, you click on the drop down. This is something that you guys would probably do quite intuitively. And in this case, I've picked Voya. And then I picked the aviation questionnaire, which in this case is state specific to the state of Florida. And to basically add that form, I simply click Add Form quite intuitively. And if I needed to add something else, perhaps a foreign travel supplement or something like that, I could do that as well. And that way you can basically concatenate a pack. So let's say Michelle there from Levinson, one of the case managers, has gotten in touch with you and let you know that after you'd sent the case forward to Voya, perhaps the paramedic had gone out there, was doing a blood draw. Maybe I was the proposed insured. She asked me how I'm doing today. I told her I'm quite excited because just this past Sunday, my pastor told me that he needed me to go to Haiti on a mission trip. So we're going to need a foreign travel supplement. And I intend to fly there because I just got my pilot's license. All these were things that weren't in place when you assiduously gathered the information from me to to move the app forward. But now these bits of information are needed so this case can proceed. I might also point out to you a very, very important fact. With the requirement, you can use this process regardless of how your original app was filled out. You might have done it on paper. You might have done it on parchment with an inkwell and a quill. You might have done it on one of our competitors' e-application platforms. All that's fine. You can still go into e-requirement, pull up the form that you need, and as you'll see, very easily gather the information, and if need be, gather this in real time. You could have me on the phone, be asking me these questions, filling in these blanks, and as you'll see in a moment, I could get the email link to let me proceed with this while I'm still talking to you on the phone. So we'll go ahead and we'll back out the aviation questionnaire because, again, let's just say that I'm going to go to Haiti on the mission trip. And again, I put in some information. I put in a phone name. I've got our email address, a policy number if you've got that, a case number. If not, you can gin something up. Very important, this box down here. If at all possible, you always want to put at least 2 or more pieces of information in there, and you'll see in a couple moments why that comes into play. This is used to let your proposed insured authenticate themselves to prove that in this case it is Bill Evans that's interacting with this process. So I'll come down here to the button that says Request Forms, and I'll click on it. What it does is it pulls up our graphic user interface, and what you're going to do is pretty much what you do with the paper form. If you're going to send it off to me via the postal service or something, you highlight the areas. So let's say for this we need date of birth, and the way I got that to highlight was I just lined up with that line and double click. To deselect it, I would double click again, but let's go ahead and we'll go with country of origin and citizenship. Okay, so where am I a citizen and what country was I born in? And that's, let's say, just for the sake of brevity for this demo, all the information we need on this foreign travel supplement. Once you've highlighted all the areas that the proposed insured is going to need to address, and by the way, if you had any of this information, you could go ahead and pre-fill it yourself if you knew it in advance, maybe save them a little time and trouble, a couple of steps. But ultimately, you're going to come down here and you're going to click on the next button. So you do so, and it jumps up and lets you know that the email's been sent, and that's it for now. All right, at this moment, I'm going to ask you, let's pretend and put on our proposed insured's hat. That's the role we're going to be in now. So I pivot over here to our inbox, and the emails come into the proposed insured, and I open it up, and it lets me know that Paul Carter at the address, or it might say Bill Levinson or Joe Agent or whatever it is, however you've set up your e-requirement account, that's who it'll represent, that's from. And as you can see here, in very simple words, it lets them know that there's a Voya life insurance policy in play and we need some information from them, and would they please click on the link. So let's go ahead and do so. I come over here, I let my browser know that it's okay to forward me into this, and it asks for the last 4 digits of the Social Security number. Now this goes back to my prior point about wanting 2 or more bits of information. You notice this little link over here that says change. If for some reason I didn't know the last 4 of my Social Security number, or didn't know my zip code, or didn't know my occupation or something like that, or my Florida driver's license, if somehow I was challenged, I can swap the question by clicking on change. And so by having more than 2 answers in there, you give them an option, something to pivot to. So the more of those 4 blanks that you can fill in, the more advantage your proposed insured is in this process. So I'll go ahead and I'll put in my zip code, and I'll authenticate. And it didn't like that, so I probably put in my home zip out of habit. And we'll try that. And if not, we could always pivot back to the Social Security number. So let's go back to that. Oh, here we go. And goodness knows what I put in there for my zip code. All right, and not surprisingly, it brings up exactly the same view that you had when you were setting the form up for the proposed insured. Remember, in this case, that is our role. We are the PI now. And so I'm going to put in United States of America as my country of origin, and I'm still a citizen proudly of the United States of America. So again, I look up and down, that's all that's highlighted, so I guess that's all I need to do. I click on next, and what's happening now is what we call real-time client-side editing, which is exclusive to our process. It takes the data that's been gathered so far and merges it with the form. And then you can basically scroll on down here to where you need to, and you see the highlighted area that says sign, and you simply click there to sign. You'll notice that the IP address, the name, and the timestamp all automatically go into place, and that's imaged in there. So it says digitally signed by Bill Evans, the date, the time, and as I just mentioned, the IP address. Up here you see where it says finished. I think most people would figure that out, but just in case they can't, it says save and complete the signature process, so they know what's about to happen. They click on that. This screen comes up, lets them know that they did their bit, and their attention is drawn over here to where it says download forms. When they click on that, it brings the form that they just completed up on whatever PDF reader is native to their machine. They see the final form. They see the information they entered. There's their name. There's the country of origin, the citizenship, and most importantly, the digital signature down here. So your proposed insured, if they'd like, can save this locally to their machine, can print it, whatever options they might have in that regard in their PDF reader. We'll go ahead and we'll get that out of our way. I'll be careful not to close down the whole webinar while I do so. Now I want to pivot back here quickly to the back office. When you go in, what I did basically to start the process, and I should have pointed that out initially, is you just come here and click on Request Forms, and that brings up the screens that you saw me present initially that I had some information in. Right now I'd like to draw your attention to another link that says View Request, directly below that. And when you pull this up, it basically shows you every transaction you've started in the current calendar month. So we've got one here for Paul Horn, its status is waiting, and we've got one for Bill Evans that we see is signed. So you know that one's ready to forward on, and so if you needed to archive it, you could come in here, click on Bill Evanson's name, Bill Evans' name, not Bill Levinson, and you could download the form as we just did. We could open it up in the PDF reader. Most importantly, what I want to show you are the options that are available for the case that is still waiting. Since Mr. Horn has not signed that application, you still have the ability to do several things. The one that you probably do most often is the center, the one in the middle here. You could resend the form. You could just simply resend it. If they said they'd thrown it out with their spam that morning, could you send it again? You can modify the email address. If there was a typo, or they needed to be sent to an alternate address, you can modify the address and then resend. That's probably the interaction you do the most. Also, you can basically edit the form data. So I could go in there and change what was highlighted, and I could deselect an area if I needed to, or select another area if I needed to, as I mentioned before. And then we could basically go on. You click next and it would save those changes. The other thing that you're available, that you have the option to do is change the contents of the form pack. If the wrong form was selected, you could exit out, put the correct form in, or if need be, I could add that foreign travel supplement that we saw before with VOIA. This time, of course, it's protective. So you have many options available to you prior to the proposed insured signing, and you can make all those changes. Once they've signed, again, you see your options are limited to basically just downloading the PDF, because of course it's not fair or ethical to be changing things once the proposed insured is signed. It really is a very simple, straightforward, I'd even say elegant process. It will shave a lot of time off your turnaround on these things. Basically, time and time again, when we've seen this in the hands of users, we've seen basically the turnaround go from 8 to 10 business days to 3 to 4 business days. Many of the transactions do get done in real time. Again, if you have the proposed insured on the phone, you could gather this information, send it off to them. It's no longer a miracle that somebody can be on their phone and on their browser at the same time. You could catch me at the airport. I could do this while I was waiting for my flight and have that back and done literally in a matter of minutes. That was a very quick tour through. Bill, Joseph, if there's anything I missed, if you'd like, please ping me with a couple questions, or if there's anything you'd like to add, please go ahead.
No, that was perfect, Paul. We appreciate it. And then just so everyone knows, we're going to have another webinar on Evaluate when we have the official launch rollout. So you can keep your eyes peeled for that, and Paul will be joining us again. So Paul, that was excellent. Thank you very much. So we have a few more slides, some new changes here at Levinson, a few things that we wanted to share before we let you go. First off, the exclusive mortgage protection lead program has been doing better than ever for 2016. We had some record weeks in ordering leads, so we're very happy to share this with our agents. Obviously, it's a co-op program, so it costs us money for you to participate. Okay, so the only thing we ask in return is that any business that gets written comes back through Levinson. So just a couple of new testimonials that are recent that I wanted to talk about quickly. The first one on the top is from a newer agent. He said, "Thanks, Bill. So far, I sold 8 prospects part-time off the mortgage protection leads in less than 30 days. That's 8 new applications, okay, in a month from the program. And this guy does this part-time. Okay, he has 2 jobs. He also says, by the way, I like your incentive that you offer to transfer agent codes. That's called cash for contracting, where we will either match or give you more commission than what you're currently getting, and you can earn up to $400 cash for the new applications that come in. So that's great. And then we also have a lead reimbursement program. So any lead you sell, we give you a check back for that lead cost. So it's great stuff there. And then in the red area in the middle there, now this is important because this agent is a mortgage protection specialist. He's a veteran in our business. So I really thought that, A, this meant a lot to us, and B, that this would help our agents kind of get a good perspective or handle on the program. As a 10-year veteran in the mortgage protection field, and since I have worked thousands of leads and several dozen lead sources, I can honestly say this is the best lead program, and these are some of the best leads I have ever seen, period. Really, these leads are fresh, responsive, and exclusive. And frankly, the price point of the leads and the flexibility of the lead program make the return of investment here phenomenal. So kudos to the Levinson team. What you have put together here is a clear winner, Vinny C. So that's huge. And we didn't say, hey, make sure to send us a testimonial. I mean, these people took time out of their day to send this to us. So we think that everybody will kind of gain some perspective on the program by reading these testimonials. We have a bunch of other ones, but I wanted to shine some light on these 2. On the bottom area there, you can see that we give 2 free leads for every order of 12, and then there's 3 free leads of an order of 15, 4 free leads for an order of 20. They're 100% exclusive, $18 a lead. There's no minimum order requirement. We don't hold your card and start charging you every week. Basically, you're set up as every week that you are in as long as you send us the form. So you don't have to worry about canceling anything. You put the order in Monday, so every single Monday, and you have the leads delivered to you by Tuesday before we close. Okay? Once again, all lead business must be placed through us. Most important thing there. All right, so we're going to move forward here. An awesome new program. If you have written or you know anyone that has a Banner Life Term policy, okay, in the last 4 years, this is guaranteed issue. So any client that you have wrote a Banner Term policy with can now get a fresh new 25-year term with Banner Life guaranteed issue. Okay, so this makes for some great leads. Everyone or almost everyone that I know that's a term life agent has sold Banner at one time or another. So there's a bunch of leads here that need to be called. Okay, very important. Guaranteed issue, give a fresh 25-year term at the same health class that they originally got, up to 4 years old. Great stuff there, Banner. They just rolled this out. Moving forward, I'm going to talk pretty quickly because I know we're coming up on our 25-minute mark. So our and as you're probably aware by now, we were the first ones to roll out the Lightning term product almost 2 years ago, and it's the first term product to ever be sold online that's 100% client-driven, meaning the client runs the quote, they sign up online, they get approved, and the policy gets mailed within 48 hours. And it comes with a free scholarship up to $100,000. That's been around now for almost 2 years. Now we have officially rolled out the Level Lightning term product. It's a 20-year term, level guaranteed death benefit up to $150,000. Same slick process, only 3 health questions, and it's still client-driven. So there's no agent involvement. There's nothing else in the industry today that works like this. So great stuff there, Level Lightning term. Call us. We'll get you set up and make sure your state is approved. Okay, so moving forward here, Joe is going to talk about the hottest new software in the industry today, frankly. I mean, it is awesome. Anyone writing IndexUL or anyone that wants to write IUL needs to have the IUL calculator and software loaded on their laptops so you can start making more sales today. Joe?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. So real quick, before I dive into the software, I just wanted to let everybody know, of course, June was IUL month at Levinson & Associates, so we ran a series of different webinars, all of which are recorded and posted to the YouTube channel. So if you want to learn more about the software I'm about to touch on, or even some of the incentives, we're actually giving away an Apple iWatch. We're also giving away complimentary E&O coverage or a $400 cash bonus based on Index Universal Life production that actually goes to the middle of this month of July. So just kind of a quick precursor here, but the software is actually Index Universal Life. It's sales and analysis software that actually compares a Index Universal Life policy to any sort of qualified or non-qualified investment. So it literally allows you to take the premiums, the tax-free retirement, even taking into account the tax-free withdrawals and loans, versus any other sort of investment, whether it's an annuity product, 401k, any sort of investment that your client currently has or is looking at. This is the simplest, easiest to use, yet most advanced tool that we've ever seen in the industry. Normally costs about just under $500, but for all Levinson agents, we're actually giving you this software on an absolutely complimentary basis. I will include a link in the email you received this afternoon to actually sign up for this software free of charge. But what's so neat is besides just comparing and breaking down the Index Universal Life product, there's actually on-demand consumer videos that explain the market risk, simplify that Index Universal Life plan, and actually show your clients all the added fees that are associated with their 401k or other investment plans, and really gives them a reason to purchase that Index Universal Life policy. So this is by far, like Bill said, one of the best software programs in the industry. Again, available absolutely free to help you make more sales. And actually what we've seen by agents using this platform is they're not only able to kind of get in front of more people, but close a higher percentage of the sales that they actually speak to, because this breaks down the product in such an easy way that anybody can understand it. So again, we will include that link in this afternoon's email that you received to request access. Also, coming soon is the Levinson mobile app, so you'll be able to use all the single sign-on features of CarrieLevinson.com, access the underwriting tools, quoting abilities, even a training video library, check your case status, licensing, and even for those agents or GAs that have downline agents, you can actually look at our hierarchy tracking tool so you can see every single piece of business regardless of the carrier and actually know what's going on every step of the way. So keep your eyes peeled. We will send out an email announcement so you can actually download that Levinson app either from iTunes or, depending on what type of phone you have, for any sort of mobile device.
Okay, thank you, Joe. And, as you can see here, we are trying to change the way that you do business, and Levinson & Associates is handling all of the costs associated. You just learned about this IUL software, $480. We pay for this. You learned about e-requirement, $4 for every transaction. Okay, you can spend $10, $20 on one case if you're not careful. We pay for all of this, so it's free to all of our agents. And as you can see, especially with our new mobile app and our new tools that we're rolling out, literally every other month, okay, you can see we're on your team. We're trying to build, yes, our IMO and your business together, okay? We want to both grow together and constantly build and create and bring you to the next level with us. So with that said, as you know, I'm a big motivational guru, and Joe actually found this saying here in front of us, which I love. And basically, it's when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. So let's all do whatever it takes, put our front foot forward, and make it happen. Have a great rest of the week, a good weekend, and great selling. Take care.